One reaction with the big three NFL reactions, week 13. Here we go. Let's start Chiefs Packers. I have two here. Number one, the refs. In back-to-back weeks with big games, right? Chiefs Packers this week where it was close at the end, and then last week with the Bills Eagles, the refs have messed up in a big way. And how do you fix it, right? How do you fix this issue? And I think the NFL, the fact that Terry McAuley or Gene Steratore or Dean Blandino can give a 1 second recap of the play saying, hey, that was pass interference. How does the NFL not have that guy in the control room? They do it for replays. They call a replay off like that. If it's looks like an incomplete pass and the ref calls it a fumble, they immediately rule it incomplete. Why isn't that a rule for pass interference? If it's clear and obvious, just make the move. It's done. This is ridiculous at this point. Games are being turned on both sides yesterday with the Chiefs and the Packers because of ineptitude of officiating. They got to figure it out, NFL. And number two, in this Packers-Chiefs game, Jordan Love was excellent. 267 yards, 3 touchdowns. He is 8th in QB efficiency now through 13 weeks. Overly impressive with the youngest roster, with the cheapest roster. And credit the roster construction, right? He has brought in, the GM, young receivers, an offensive line that can protect, and a pass rush that can get home on the other side. Meanwhile, the coach, Matt LaFleur, yeah, he has some questionable calls game managing wise, but he puts Jordan Love in advantageous situations, unlike a lot of play callers in this league. The situation has helped Jordan Love as much as Love has helped Jordan Love. It's been very impressive to watch the growth and maturity of Jordan Love because, he's being brought on by a good coach, by a GM that knows how to build a roster. It's impressive. Congrats to Jordan Love and those Packers. They feel like a playoff team right now. Number two, the 49ers. San Francisco, they just might be better than everyone else. They might be. And Brock Purdy played like an MVP yesterday against a mid-so-so Eagles defense, but credit where it's due. On the road, dominant. Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk. Who can guard Kittle? Who can guard that, right? Who is the team that can give the 49ers fits? And I think there's one team, and I think it's Baltimore, because they have the defensive backs to maybe match up with those receivers, tight ends, and backs, and then they have the physicality up front that can present the 49ers, especially that offensive line, with some issues and kind of protect Lamar Jackson. That, to me, is the only team right now that you can say, okay, they can match up with San Francisco. Everyone else, I feel like it's San Francisco and Baltimore right now at the top of the league in terms of where we sit today. Again, 49ers injury prone, of course, so we don't know how this is going to end up, but that would be my call if the 49ers are healthy. And number three, I tweeted this yesterday. The New York Jets, just incompetence from the GM. Joe Douglas is just astonishing. It really is. I said this before the year, and Jet fans hated it on me. Signing Dalvin Cook, Alan Lazard, and Randall Cobb to appease Aaron Rodgers. Come on. No quarterback is succeeding in this offense. Look no further than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco yesterday looked competent. He was on the team last year. Who was he throwing to? Elijah Moore. Over 80 yards, over 20 yards per play. Jets could sure use that right now in the receiving corps. No. Instead, they have Alan Lazard, who was inactive last week, and Randall Cobb, who both of them this week combined for 0 yards. Come on, Jets. Congratulations, Joe Douglas. You hit on a first-round pick, Sauce Gardner. Congrats. No, seriously. You have, and people will say, okay, we didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Well, what do you expect with a 40-year-old with a bad offensive line? At least have a backup plan in place, and don't tell me it's Zach Wilson. There is one backup plan that should have been there, and it's Mike White. It's Mike White, and now he's on your arch rival. If Mike White was on this team, and look at the playoff picture, Cleveland without a quarter with Joe Flacco, you have Indianapolis, you have Houston. If Mike White is on this team, they're at least competing for a playoff spot. Instead, they have massively messed up the quarterback position. They have not given a quarterback any potential to succeed with a horrific offensive line and top-heavy skill position players and old guys across the board. This is just roster construction. Really, just congratulations. Just look at the difference between the Jets right now and the Packers. Jets haven't hit a quarterback in 20 years. Packers hit on one who we all thought was a bust because of the franchise. Situation matters for quarterback.